I sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes because I couldn't open the door. That was the moment I called my doctor. That nobody really prepares dads for. Not because men are fragile, but because most of us were trained to convert fear into jokes, silence, work, or anger before anyone notices we are drowning. So before we get tactical, let us say the true thing plainly. This is hard. It matters. And you are not the only dad trying to look calm while your internal HUD is flashing red. I sat in my car, in our driveway, for 20 minutes one Tuesday after work, because I could not bring myself to open the door and walk into my own house. My kid was inside, my wife was inside. I loved them both. I had been a dad for about 4 months. I just could not move. I did not have a plan. I did not have a thought. I had a feeling that was not a feeling, exactly. It was an absence, a flat, dim, weighted thing that was not sadness and was not nothing. I sat with both hands on the steering wheel and stared at the garage door. After 20 minutes, I made a phone call. The phone call was to my primary care doctor, and the message I left for the nurse was, "I think something is wrong with me. I am a new dad and I am not okay. Can the doctor call me back?" The doctor called me back the next morning. He listened for about 10 minutes. He said, "You are describing paternal postpartum depression. It is real. About 1 in 10 new fathers gets it. We are going to talk about what we are going to do." That phone call may have saved my life. Or, at minimum, it saved the version of my fatherhood that I had been failing to be for the previous month. Today, we are going to talk about the most underscreened, most underdiscussed, most undernamed clinical condition affecting fathers in the early years: paternal postpartum depression. Why it is real, why it does not look the way mom's postpartum depression looks, why your pediatrician is screening your wife for it 3 times in the first year and screening you for it 0 times, and the moves that the dads who recognized it in themselves and got help are running. This is the most important episode I will do for any of you who are in it right now. Stay with me. The next 20 minutes might be the most useful 20 minutes of your year. Let me start with the data, because the data on this is more brutal than almost anybody admits. According to a meta-analysis published in JAMA in 2010 and reinforced by subsequent research, approximately 10% of new fathers in industrialized countries meet the clinical threshold for postpartum depression in the first year of their child's life. The peak prevalence is roughly 3 to 6 months postpartum. Some studies put the number higher, 15%, depending on the threshold and the population. The number does not include subclinical depression, which probably affects another 20 to 30%. 10%, 1 in 10. That is not a fringe number. That is statistically the same prevalence as asthma. It affects more men than most named medical conditions, and almost no man gets screened for it. Here is the reason why. Your wife, in the first year of your kid's life, will be screened for postpartum depression at her 6-week postpartum visit, at her 3-month visit, and often again at 6 and 9 months. Most pediatrician offices in the United States now also screen mothers at well baby visits. The screening is a brief questionnaire, most commonly the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale, which takes about 3 minutes. It catches a lot of the women who would otherwise slip through. You, in the first year of your kid's life, will be screened roughly 0 times. The medical infrastructure does not have a slot for screening fathers. The pediatrician did not ask. Your primary care does not ask. Nobody asks. The data is clear that 10% of you are clinically depressed, and the system has no checkpoint to catch any of you. This is structural neglect, not malicious. Just a gap. The gap is on the dad. You have to be your own screener. Now I want to give you the second piece, because it is the part that explains why so many dads with paternal postpartum depression do not realize they have it. Paternal postpartum depression often does not look like the cliched version of depression. Women's postpartum depression frequently presents with sadness, tearfulness, sleep disruption, and explicit hopelessness. Men's postpartum depression more often presents with anger, irritability, withdrawal, increased substance use, physical symptoms, and a flat affect. The presentation is sometimes called atypical, but it is statistically the typical presentation in men. This means that a depressed new dad is often not crying. He is angry. He is short with his wife. He is checked out at work. He is drinking more. He is sleeping badly, but not in the postpartum mom way. He is having intrusive thoughts that he is not telling anybody about. He looks to himself like a guy who was just stressed about being a dad. He does not look to himself like a depressed person. The not looking like it is one of the load-bearing reasons we miss it. The cultural template for depression is the sad person. The actual presentation in dads is often the angry or withdrawn person. The angry or withdrawn person assumes he is just a bad husband, a stressed worker, an unprepared dad. The diagnosis does not occur to him. The diagnosis does not occur to his wife. The diagnosis does not occur to his doctor unless somebody asks the right questions. I want to layer in a third finding. There is research on what is called concordance. When the mother has postpartum depression, the rate of paternal postpartum depression in the same household roughly doubles. About 50% of the partners of mothers with PPD will themselves develop clinical depression. The mechanisms are likely shared: environmental stress, sleep deprivation, the burden of the mother's depression on the father, and the mutual reinforcement. That's how much you can create. The risk goes up to 40 or 50%. Just stress because she's struggling. Often the dad is also clinically depressed and the household has two depressed adults, which is much harder on everybody than the single depression household. The screening in cases where the wife has been diagnosed should be automatic. It is not. You have to ask for it. Now, I want to do the personal piece because the driveway 20 minutes was the moment I noticed, but the symptoms had been building for at least 2 months. Looking back, the signs were there in retrospect. I had been picking pointless fights with my wife. I had been drinking more than I usually did. I had stopped going to the gym. I had stopped texting friends. I was waking up at 4 a.m. and lying awake until the alarm. I had started having a thought I did not understand at the time, which I will share because it might match a thought you are having. The thought was, if I just disappeared, the family would be better off financially because of life insurance, and emotionally because they would not have to put up with me. The thought just kept reappearing, particularly in the car on the way home from work. I did not call it a suicidal thought in my own head because I did not have a plan. The clinical literature does call it a suicidal thought. It is in fact the kind of thought that requires you to call somebody. If any of that thought sounds familiar, please pause this video, put the phone down, and call your doctor. Or call 988, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Or text HOME to 741,741, the crisis text line. Both are free, both are confidential, both will connect you with someone who can talk through what you are experiencing right now. You are not alone. Roughly 1 in 10 new dads is right where you are. The thought is a symptom, not a verdict. The condition is treatable. Get help. After my doctor's call, I started seeing a therapist weekly. He started me on a low-dose SSRI for 6 months. The combination of the two, talk therapy plus medication, moved me out of the worst part of it within about 8 weeks. By month 4, I felt like a person again. By month 6, I felt better than I had in years. The medication, by the way, did not make me feel weird. It made me feel like the version of me that had been buried under months of depression was finally accessible again. Some dads need talk therapy alone. Some need medication alone. Some need both. There is no moral hierarchy. The thing that works is whatever works for your specific case, decided in conversation with a clinician who has actual training in this. The wrong move is to white knuckle. The wrong move is the one almost every dad I know tried first. Now, the playbook. 6 moves. They are the moves that get a depressed new dad from drowning silently to treating an actual condition. Move 1. Run the screening on yourself. Tonight, the Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale is a 10-question questionnaire that takes 3 minutes. There is a version validated for fathers. You can find it for free online. Search for Edinburgh Postnatal Depression Scale Fathers. Take it. Be honest. Scores above 10 suggest the possibility of depression. Scores above 13 are usually considered clinically significant. The skill is not a diagnosis. It is a flag. The flag tells you whether to make the next call. If your score is above 10, you call your primary care doctor this week. Not to confirm you have it, to get screened by somebody who can actually diagnose it. Move 2. Tell your wife. This is hard. Tell her anyway. The single most isolating part of paternal postpartum depression is that nobody around you knows. Your wife, who is the closest person to you, is operating on incomplete information. Telling her does not make it her job to fix you. Telling her makes it possible for both of you to navigate the household with the actual information. The conversation is one sentence. I think I might be depressed. I am going to talk to my doctor about it. Most wives, given that sentence, respond with relief, not panic. Most wives have been wondering what was going on with you. The naming makes it easier on both of you, not harder. Move 3. Call your primary care doctor. Not your wife's pediatrician, not the internet. Your primary care can screen you, refer you, prescribe if needed, or send you to a therapist. They said no, you're not the first dad who is all about therapist. The phone call is the move. Make the call this week. The waiting list for therapists is often weeks long. Get on it now. Future you, 6 weeks from now, will be glad you made the call today. Move 4. Move your sleep, even by a little. Sleep is the load-bearing variable in male postpartum depression. The depression cannot be fully treated without addressing the sleep. The shift system we covered in the sleep episode is, in this case, partially a mental health intervention. 5 solid hours per night, every night, for both parents, is the foundation that lets any other treatment work. If your sleep is genuinely catastrophic, get help. Family, night nurse, if affordable, friend who can take a shift. The sleep deprivation is, at the level you are running out, one of the inputs feeding the depression. Move it. Move 5. Move your body, even by a little. Exercise is one of the most well-studied non-pharmaceutical interventions for depression. 20 minutes of moderate cardio 3 times a week has effects roughly comparable to a low-dose SSRI in mild to moderate depression. It is not a cure. It is a major lever. 20 minutes is achievable, even in early fatherhood. A walk with the stroller. A short run while your wife handles bath time. Stationary bike in the basement. Whatever the format, get the body moving. The depression eases, measurably, in the weeks that follow. Move 6. Build the support net out, not just one person. Most depressed dads route everything through one outlet, their wife, usually, and the wife is also in the trenches and is not in a position to be the sole receiver of your depression. Build a lighter net. Therapist, doctor. One specific friend who you tell. A men's mental health group if available. The Movember Foundation has resources specifically for new fathers, reading materials, anything that gives you somewhere besides your wife to put the load. The wider the net, the easier the recovery. Single-point support is fragile. Multi-point support is durable. Now the kicker. The driveway 20 minutes was the worst day of my early fatherhood. It was also the day my actual recovery started. The bad day was the data. The data led to the call. The call led to the treatment. The treatment, over several months, gave me my life back. The dads who do not make the call usually do not get better on their own. The data on this is brutal. Untreated paternal postpartum depression often becomes chronic. It affects the marriage. It affects the kid's development. There is research showing measurable effects on kids' language and emotional development at 24 months when fathers had untreated PPD. The damage is real and it travels. The treatment exists. The treatment works. The barrier between you and the treatment is almost always the phone call. Make the call. If you are watching this video right now and any of what I have described had matched what you are feeling, I want you to do one specific thing tonight. Take the screening test online. Be honest with the answers. If you score above 10, call your doctor this week. You are not alone in this. Roughly 1 in 10 of every new dad cohort is in this same situation. Mostly suffering in silence, mostly believing they are uniquely failing, mostly running symptoms they have not been able to name. You are inside a normal, treatable, well-documented condition that has somehow not been named for you by the system around you. Quick replay, the 6 moves. 1. Run the Edinburgh screening on yourself, tonight, 3 minutes. 2. Tell your wife. 1 sentence, I think I might be depressed. 3. Call your primary care doctor, this week. Get the appointment. 4. Move the sleep, 5 solid hours, whatever it takes. 5. Move the body, 20 minutes, 3 times a week, cardio. 6. Build the support net out. Therapist, friend, group. Multipoint. Here is the line. The version of you that is sitting in the car in the driveway right now, unable to open the door, is not the version you have to stay as. The condition is real. The condition is also treatable. The treatment is widely available, mostly affordable, and it works. The thing standing between you and the treatment is the phone call, and the phone call is the work of the next 24 hours. If you are at the worst part of it, tonight, please reach out. Call your doctor. Call 988. Text 741,741. Call a friend. Tell your wife. Pick one of those. Pick the one that feels least impossible. Just pick one. The driveway 20 minutes was, for me, the bottom. It was also the door. There is a door for you. The door is on the other side of one phone call. Make the call. The kid is depending on you too. The marriage is depending on you too. You are depending on you too. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are running an actual condition that an actual 1 in 10 new dads has. And you have a path through it that other dads have already walked. Walk it. The fog lifts. The connection comes back. The version of you that is buried under this comes back. I have been there. I came back. So can you. Make the call. Tonight, if you can. Tomorrow, if you cannot. But make it. This week. Not someday. Now. Should come the part nobody says out loud. There is a version of dad content that skips the ugly middle. It jumps from announcement photo to matching pajamas and pretends the stretch between those 2 points is just a cute montage. That is not how this works. The middle is where you become someone else while still grieving the person you were. If this topic hits a nerve, that is not weakness. That is signal. It means the story is close enough to your actual life that your body recognizes it before your pride can clean it up. It is the bottle that leaks at 2 a.m. It is hearing your partner sigh and knowing you are both out of health potions. It is wanting 30 minutes to yourself and feeling guilty for wanting it. This is where the gaming metaphor matters. You do not win by pretending the difficulty setting is lower. You win by changing strategy, conserving stamina, and learning the pattern. Pick one concrete move. Send the apology. Prep the daycare bag. Put your phone in another room for 10 minutes. Ask your partner what would make tomorrow morning 5% easier. Open the calendar. Text one dad friend. Choose the boring action that makes the next level less punishing. The win condition is not perfection. The win condition is one less avoidable explosion tomorrow. A lot of men wait until the feeling becomes anger before they admit they are scared. Scared they are failing. Scared their partner sees them differently. Scared they are becoming their father. Scared they will never feel free again. Scared they love their kid and still miss silence. Say the clean sentence underneath the messy one. I am overwhelmed. I need help. I miss who we used to be. I do not know how to do this yet. That sentence is not a debuff. It is the first useful command. To co-op patch. If there is another parent in the house, the patch is communication before resentment. Not a trial, not a scoreboard. A short sync, what is hard right now, what can move, what cannot move, and what would help before the next crash. Do not wait for the dramatic relationship summit. Healthy co-op is mostly tiny updates before the server catches fire. Sure. How can you serve problems in your life? The identity rebuild. The old save file is not coming back exactly as it was. That sounds brutal because it is. But the new build can still contain the best parts of you. Curiosity, humor, discipline, tenderness, competitiveness, creativity, the part that wants to teach a small person how to move through the world. You are not deleting yourself. You are respecing under pressure. Not the shame trap. The shame trap says you are the only dad who feels this way. You are not. You are just one of the few willing to say it before it leaks out sideways as sarcasm, distance, scrolling, snapping, spending, drinking, or disappearing into a screen after bedtime. Shame thrives in vague silence. Think it by naming the exact sentence. I am jealous of my old freedom. I am scared my partner does not like me anymore. I am angry and then ashamed of being angry. I miss gaming without negotiating for it. Once the sentence is clean, you can actually do something with it. Number 1, the partner translation layer. Your partner may not hear the sentence you think you are saying. You say, I need a break. And they hear, you are on your own. You say, I worked all day. And they hear, your day did not count. You say, just tell me what to do. And they hear, please manage one more person. Translate before impact. Try, I am at 0 and I know you are too. What is the next fair move? That sentence does not solve everything, but it keeps the team from turning on itself. Put the baby somewhere safe. Step into the hallway, splash water on your face. Say out loud, "I am overloaded, not dangerous." Text your partner if you need relief. If you are alone, lower the stakes and slow the room down. Then, repair. Repair is the skill. You will not be a dad who never snaps. You can be a dad who comes back, owns it, and teaches your kid that big feelings do not have to become permanent damage. One of the weirdest parts of early fatherhood is watching your old social life keep moving without you. The group chat still fires, the games still launch, the memes still land. But you are holding a bottle in the dark, reading everything hours late, feeling like a ghost in your own life. Do not confuse absence with abandonment. Send the honest message, "I am in the trenches, but I still want in." Real friends can adapt. Shallow routines may fall away. That hurts, and it also tells you what was actually built. Number 3, the body check before you decide your life is broken. Check the body. Have you slept? Eaten real food? Moved outside? Had water? Taken 5 minutes without a screen? A lot of existential dread is real, but it gets louder when your body is running on fumes and leftover nuggets. This is not wellness influencer nonsense. This is basic resource management. You cannot run an endgame raid on a red stem in a bar and then call yourself weak when you wipe. NewsEleanor.b. NewsEleanor.b. The Scream Honesty Check. Games can be rest, art, connection, and identity. They can also become anesthesia. The difference is how you feel afterward. Rested, connected, more yourself? Good. Numb, avoidant, irritated when interrupted, and resentful of anyone who needs you? That is not rest. That is escape with better graphics. You do not have to quit the thing you love. You have to make it honest again. The father you are building. Your kid is not only watching the heroic moments. They are watching repair, patience, apologies, how you treat their mother, how you handle losing, how you talk about your own limits, and whether screens get more eye contact than they do. That sounds heavy because it is, but it is also hopeful. You do not need one cinematic speech. You need 1,000 small reps where your child sees a man telling the truth and coming back to the people he loves. Here is the loadout for this week. 1 honest sentence, 1 calendar block, 1 practical chore you fully own, 1 repair conversation, 1 dad-friend touch point, 1 no-phone pocket of time with your kid, and 1 protected hour that actually restores you. Do not make it pretty, make it real. A stable build beats a fantasy build every time. Childcare, rent, groceries, formula, insurance, car repairs, and the quiet pressure to provide can make you feel like you are 1 bad month away from failing everyone. A lot of dads do not call that anxiety, they call it being responsible. But your nervous system knows the difference. Name the pressure without letting it become your personality. Make the spreadsheet. Talk about the bill. Ask for the cheaper option. Cancel the subscription. But also say the true thing. I am scared. Fear that gets named becomes a problem to solve instead of a monster under the bed. At home, everything resets, everyone needs you, and nobody claps because you remembered wipes. That contrast can make the office feel easier than your actual life. Be careful with that. Your family does not need your polished work mask. They need the man underneath it to come home before there is nothing left of him. Use the apology template when you mess up. I snapped. That was not fair. I was overwhelmed, but that is not your fault. I am going to do this differently next time. No courtroom defense. No 5-minute speech about how tired you are. Own the impact first. That kind of apology does 2 things. It repairs the person in front of you, and it trains your own brain to see repair as part of strength instead of humiliation. Trying to father in solo queue will break most men eventually. You need at least one person who gets the real version, the guy who loves his kid and still wants to scream into a pillow sometimes. That person might be a brother, a friend, a group chat, a therapist, a neighbor, or another dad at pickup who looks equally cooked. Do not wait until you are heroic enough to ask for connection. While it is awkward, rapid, and cut out on the water. Rapid and cut out. Awkward connection beats polished isolation. To be the future cutscene picture. The future cutscene for a second. Your kid is older. They remember less of the perfect activities than you think. What they remember is the atmosphere. Did dad come back after hard moments? Did dad listen? Did dad laugh? Did dad apologize? Did dad make me feel wanted even when life is heavy? That is the legacy system you are building, not a flawless childhood. A trustworthy emotional climate. Change the morning after. The morning after a hard night is where a lot of dads quietly decide what kind of man they are. Maybe you snapped. Maybe you withdrew. Maybe you stared at your phone while your kid tried to get your attention. Maybe you and your partner went to bed facing opposite walls. Do not let the morning after become evidence that you are doomed. Let it become data. What failed? Sleep? Planning? Food? Communication? Expectations? Support? A good player reviews the wipe and changes the strategy. Masculinity patch. A lot of us inherited a broken masculinity patch. Be useful. Be strong. Do not complain. Provide. Protect. Absorb damage. Those are not all bad instincts. The problem is when they become the only buttons available. Your kid needs more than a silent tank. They need a man who can protect and explain, provide and connect, lead and apologize, be strong and still tell the truth about pain. That is not soft. That is a better build. Use the 10-minute reset when the house feels cursed. 10 minutes to clear the counter. 10 minutes to prep bottles. 10 minutes to sit next to your partner with no logistics. 10 minutes on the floor with your kid where you are not half playing and half scrolling. 10 minutes outside. 10 minutes will not fix fatherhood. It will interrupt the spiral. Sometimes that is enough to stop a bad hour from becoming a bad night. Some of those facts may be true, and the scoreboard can still poison the room. Replace the scoreboard with a status check. Who is closest to breaking? What has to happen next? What can wait? What would help the team? Co-op survives when both players stop trying to win against each other. The hug after conflict. The sentence, "You did not deserve that tone." You may feel ridiculous doing it the first few times. Do it anyway. You are not only parenting your kid in that moment. You are also breaking a pattern that may have been running in the background for decades. The boring heroism, most fatherhood heroism, is boring. Nobody makes a movie trailer about washing pump parts, comparing daycare forms, learning the bedtime routine, clipping tiny nails, or staying calm during a meltdown in a parking lot. But boring heroism is what a family is built on. It is the stuff that makes people feel safe. It is the daily proof that love is not just a feeling you announce. It is a system you maintain. For the next 7 days, I sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes because I couldn't open the door. That was the moment I called my doctor, like a real quest. Choose one measurable action each day, 10 minutes of eye contact. One chore owned without being asked. One honest text. One walk outside. One repaired moment. One protected bedtime routine. 1 hour where the controller, the phone, and the anxiety are not driving. 7 small reps will teach you more than one dramatic promise. The game changes when the habits get boring enough to work. Repeat this line when the week gets ugly. I can be overwhelmed and still be responsible for my next move. That sentence gives you no free pass, but it gives you a handle. It separates the feeling from the behavior. You are allowed to be exhausted. You are allowed to miss your old life. You are allowed to need help. You are not allowed to disappear from the people counting on you. The path is not shame. The path is ownership with support. At some point, the comment section question. If this is the episode about I sat in my car in the driveway for 20 minutes because I couldn't open the door, that was the moment I called my doctor. The question is simple. What is the thing you thought you were not allowed to admit? Not the polished answer, the real one. The one other dads read and go quiet because they thought it was only them. That is the community layer. One honest comment can give another man permission to stop pretending. Hey, the final reframe, you are not behind because this feels hard. It feels hard because it is hard. Fatherhood is not a lifestyle accessory. It is a total operating system migration with no clean install window. Keep the kid safe. Repair when you snap. Tell the truth faster. Make tomorrow slightly easier. That is not a small thing. That is the game. If this helped you level up your dad game, smash that like button so other gamer dads can find us. Subscribe to Gamer Dads for practical parenting advice with a millennial gaming twist.